All right.
All right. Good evening. Buenas tardes. Bon après-midi.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Mes amis.
Okay.
Right?
Hurry.
Okay. Oh, we're in. We're going. Let's go. Like, we're glad you're here. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being amazing humans. I wish we were all together because we'd go around like giving hugs and I would still hug you, right? Even though COVID's out, I'd be like, I'm still gonna give you a hug anyways.
You'll refrain from kissing, maybe.
I wouldn't spit on anyone. That's what I would not do. Oh, you guys, I hope you're feeling awake, energized, and alive. Who had an awesome day today? Who had an exhausting day today? Yeah, right? Oh man, and that you're here, you're showing up. This is amazing. You're amazing. Okay, so let's last time we talked, we talked about, and it was so exciting. We had so much fun. We talked about the decluttering, and man, a lot of people did some serious decluttering in their lives, including us, and it was awesome. So it is
still going on,
still happening in major ways, and it's just happiness galore to declutter. Mon ami, ça va. Bon appetit. So we're hitting the decluttering. We want to ask how's it going? How's the decluttering going in your life, in your house? I know we had some people like nail the master bedroom. Some people were going after the yard, the garage, the stuff and the things, the family rooms. Let's give a quick update. You can jump on the mic or in the chat. How's it going? How's the decluttering going?
Did you run into challenges?
Did you run into some fun getting rid of stuff? Decluttering, still have a lot to do, but making big progress. Yay. Fantastic. I love it. Getting rid of junk is always fun, right? That's how we are. Man, clearing out space. What's fun for me is like when everything feels like tight because there's too much stuff in there, and then you're like, there's space. Oh, it feels so good. Tackled the dining room corner. Nice.
Got the pantry done.
Nice. Sweet. Love it. Usually other people who don't like it. I love it.
Yeah, sometimes people's issues come out when you declutter.
Yeah, interesting.
And you realize
detachment.
We had even some conversations about saving the planet versus saving my time.
And Rachel getting rid of my stuff.
Sometimes in the name, what stuff? I didn't get rid of your stuff.
She just starts throwing things out. I'm like, babe,
no,
that's my thing.
I have this philosophy that if it's like too dirty, I'm just going to throw it out. It's not worth my time to like try and clean it. And his philosophy is save the planet. Don't throw things away that you don't have to throw away. Just take time to wash them. I'm like, okay, I'll save the planet by giving it to you to wash.
Delegation right there at its best, people. Delegation at its best. Motivating once you get going. Yep, lots of areas to conquer, and that's we're gonna hit more of that tonight. Super awesome. Worked on the garage. They were able to easily use the 6-seater for an adventure. Nice. Did the basement. Cool. So hard choosing between the books, right? Oh, the books.
We got rid of some books. That's a big deal.
It's a big deal. So I let go of some books. It was like chopping off fingers, man. I love my books. You kidding me? We have packed hundreds of pounds of books around the world, and now we're just like, what?
And the rest of them we kept in storage.
Yeah. So
for 9 years.
All right, so let's dive in. The other part of this was so decluttering. So please keep doing that. We'll come back to it, I think, tonight because we're going to talk about ordering our lives, getting our lives totally dialed in. The other challenge I gave you last time that we didn't talk on much is getting our bodies in tip-top health. And I want to just bring that up, just touch on it for a minute. Why? So let me ask you, though. Let me ask, why is it important to you to have your body in a good condition?
So I can live a long time.
Ooh. How long do you want to live, babe?
Like 120.
120. Anybody else want to go higher?
But I don't want to be like
going
an
once,
old,
going twice, not a little old shriveled.
yeah, shriveled, can't think lady. I'm going to be like active.
Whoa,
120.
active at 120, sharp-minded. I'm going. Why else, you guys? Why is it important to you to have your body
More
in
energy, did you
good
see that?
condition? Yeah, Baleen says more energy. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Heather says, so I can enjoy life and be here for my family as long as God lets me, and to honor God by blessing me with second chances on an injury. Nice. Yes. And those of us who have experienced injuries and have second chances or have multiple chances, man, we got to take care of our bodies, huh? Like for me, I'm to a critical point now. Like I have to keep my body in good condition or I just hurt or would hurt. I feel great, right? You guys, they're coming in now. Way to go. This is awesome. Quality of life with my kids. Let that one hit home. Right? Sometimes okay. Like this right here is your filter through which you experience everything in life. Your body is your vehicle, right? It's the vehicle of your mind. It's the vehicle of your soul, your spirit, and like your emotions. Like everything you experience in life is coming through this vehicle and almost like a filter. And if it's not in a good condition, it totally affects quality of life.
And relationships with your kids and your spouse.
Yeah, right. So some people are like, oh, just parenting is, it's brutal. It's so hard. And one of the reasons it's so brutal and so hard is because of low energy levels, or they don't feel very well a lot, or it's just so much harder when our bodies are not in a good, healthy place. It's harder, isn't it? You guys know what I'm talking about. I know you do. I've experienced it. Oh my goodness. It's just tough. So we want to have our bodies where we feel like they feel good. Like, okay, let's start feeling good before the day starts. Right? Someone's getting like, I feel terrible. And like it carries over, and man, does it have a negative effect, and that kind of spirals and snowballs into other problems. Other comments. That one I'm struggling with right now, but I want to stick around for my kids. I once heard of people who just get old and die in their sleep. Sweet. Okay. Your goal is to die when you're old and fall asleep one day. Definitely more energy. Do active things I love. That's Rachel and my plan. We're going to celebrate her 120th birthday, and then we'll go to sleep that night and pass on to the next life. Yeah. Or go skydiving or base jumping on her 120th birthday.
I'd rather just fall asleep.
No, let's go out with a bang, babe. Okay.
Like secondhand lions.
Yes, like secondhand lions. We're going to build our own airplane for her 122nd birthday. Okay, let's see. To be a better me, right? We are. We just level up. We're just better, especially as we all are getting older. Hate to break that to you. No, as we're getting older, we can. Well, two things. One, if we know what we're doing to really take care of our bodies and keep them in tip-top shape condition, we actually can delay some of the effects of aging so they don't hit us so hard. And simultaneously, we can age with grace. I remember I was backpacking, and we were a few days way back in Yosemite. Like we were back in there, right? We'd paid a price to get in there. And we're hiking out. And I look down the trail, and this little itty bitty cute little old couple comes trekking up. They got their big old backpacks on, and they're just trekking along. And we're days back in there. I'm like, what in the world? I had to stop. I'm like, hey, this is amazing. And he's like, I'm 88 years old. I'm like, yes, I will be out backpacking in the wilderness when I'm 88 with my honey. Oh man, we're still gonna have a romantic love tent. But you guys, like, still got to be moving and living that way. Okay, let's keep going. I saw my own family go down with so many bad health things. I want to be a role model and have energy for those grandkids who are coming. Yes, and yes.
Can I? Well, That's part of my motivation. My dad died from colon cancer at the age of what, 45?
47.
47. So I'm 41 right now. That's 6 years away from my age. So as it gets closer, I'm realizing more and more how young he was. Greg and I were just married. We'd been married a year, 2 years, a year. So that's had a major impact on our health journey, I guess, and keeping us motivated to stay healthy. So I get that.
Yeah. Huge. Reading your comment had an emotional, hit an emotional chord for me. So my dad split around the time I was born. Stepdads came and went, never had a good relationship with them. And, I've always, since I was a teen and was out on my own, I really, really wanted to be a great dad. But I remember one time my dad came to visit and I was maybe 16 or 17. And he would just come around maybe, I don't know, once a year. I don't know. He would just come up every once in a while and come visit, right? And one time he came and I was like 16 and I'm like, let's wrestle. And I grab him and I start wrestling, right? And he was like, oh, no, don't touch me. Like, no, don't. I can't wrestle. And it like struck me forcefully as a 16-year-old boy. Like, when my kids are 16, I'm going to wrestle. Right?
And you like, do a lot.
Oh, a lot. I was literally sparring last night with my boys, going all out. Whoa, we had gloves on, everything. We take Krav Maga classes together. I took that whole wrestling thing to the next level. Like, we beat each other and have an absolute blast. And it's getting a little, don't tell anybody, they're getting close. I mean, my boys are so strong. Like, I'm gonna have to start. I got to keep my skills up so I can hang because they're getting big and strong. So that was an emotional one for me. That was huge, Deb. Like, I have to stay in shape because I want to be there wrestling with my kids, and I want to carry them, and I want to be there to be with them, right? Also want to spend lots of time traveling with my husband when kids leave the nest. Yeah, absolutely. And we got to have good health for that. I want to have good health to prevent health issues from happening. Yeah, so much is preventable, which I can easily take for granted until health issues happen.
Yep.
You guys realize that over 600,000 people die every year in the United States alone? 600,000 people from preventable heart disease. Most of that related to being overweight. 600,000 people. Turns out heart disease is way more deadly than COVID. Did I just say? Sorry, I shouldn't bring things up like that. But it's not reported. If they reported those deaths, I promise you people will start eating better and exercising more. Okay, so let's take care of our bodies. Can I give you just a couple of things? Are you guys okay with this? If I give a couple pointers? Most of us want to trim down a bit. Some of us, like Israel, wants to put some guns on. Some of you are trying to gain weight. That's fantastic. Some of you are trying to lose weight. Also fantastic. So I'm going to give some simple rules. Ready? This one's a game changer. Game changer.
Remember, repetition is the mother of mastery. If you've heard Greg say any of this before.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard this before, but are you doing it?
That's why we repeat it.
You know who I'm talking to. I don't know who I'm talking to, but you know who I'm talking to. Okay, ready? Eat your dinner and try to shoot for somewhere around like 6 o'clock-ish. You ready for this? No food after dinner. That one is a game changer. No food after dinner.
And ideally that's 6 o'clock.
So usually you're trying to get 4 hours before bed, trying to have no food in your system. Okay. Have plenty of water, but have a small dinner and then no food after dinner.
I'm going to add, if you do get hungry, you can have like some tea with grass-fed butter in it. Tea meaning like herbal tea. So I guess coffee if you drink coffee.
No, don't do it. No coffee before bed. If you're a coffee drinker, have a tiny bit in the morning. No coffee before bed. It will mess you up. that caffeine, and no like caffeine drinks either. Energy drinks. Oh man, that stuff will just shatter your sleep. You got to get good sleep.
Herbal tea. I do like a sleepy time herbal tea and I put grass-fed butter in it, especially if I'm hungry, because then that will carry me through the night.
And that helps satiate, so it takes care of hunger pains. Okay, so have a nice warm like mint or chamomile, or our favorite's called
sleepy time.
No, that's not our favorite.
I made you some. You liked it.
It was good.
I don't know.
Dandy blend.
Oh, roasted dandelion.
Roasted. It's amazing. Okay, anyways, that's the satiate stuff. Here's why. You set what you're doing is you're going into a fast. And so break fast is actually breaking a fast. And so if you stop eating at dinner, have a smaller meal at dinner, because your bodies don't need energy to go to bed, you guys. You do not need energy. A tiny bit. You need energy for the daytime. So stop eating after dinner. Like all of you, I know who, because I talked to you and you're like, yeah, pretty much eat snacks all the way up until bedtime, snacking here, snacking there, having some ice cream with your Netflix. I know what you people do. And we like it too, but like when we're getting healthy, we cut it way back. So dinner, cut it off, and then try to,
even if you ate whatever you wanted in between, well, he's going to say when you start eating in the morning and dinner time, that would make a big difference if you didn't eat anything else.
Yes.
So you don't have to change anything at this point. You just stop eating at like 6.
Yes. And then don't have breakfast for as long as you can. Very first thing in the morning, please do not eat, because your body, what happens during the night while you're sleeping is your cells, they cleanse and they get rid of any junk that they picked up. They get rid of any toxins, right? And they push them into your bladder and your kidneys. So the very best thing you can do in the morning is have a big glass of water with some lemon juice in it. And that helps flush out all the toxins. So your body can cleanse every morning. It's amazing. So don't eat first thing, just have some water. And then
if you are hungry, like I am, I do the same thing. I'll have, there's the Dandy blend is like a coffee alternative, I guess, or like organic, or the roasted dandelion tea. I'll have something like that with the butter in it again, or coconut oil. And then of course we don't use sugar. We use the monk fruit sweetener or erythritol.
Oh, that's the other thing. So yeah, no refined sugars. Just get sugar replacements. So use erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol, so it doesn't spike your blood sugars. And use a monk fruit. If you're going to use a sweetener, use something like a very pure maple syrup or honey, a local honey preferably. But if you get rid of those sugars, that helps a ton. You guys, I wish you could all come over and visit. That's right. When we do these retreats and stuff, and we have you guys over, Rachel's going to show you. She has become the master of making these little herbal drinks. It's amazing. Man, they're so good. Right. So what you're doing, you're trying to cut your eating window. So if I don't eat until around 8:30 or 9, and I stop around 5:30, right, then that's my eating window. I can eat that time. The rest of the time I'm, quote, fasting. And it's only hard for like first 2 days. And then you're like, I got this.
And when I drink my teas,
and it's not hard at all.
It doesn't break your fast, but it also satiates your hunger.
So just that simple right there, you guys. Everyone
maybe
can do that.
That's it. Like, just that's it.
That's it. Okay. Do that.
Try that.
And exercise for 40 minutes, 4 days a week.
Well,
but
start with the other
start with that. Dude, it's called kind of intermittent fasting, you guys. I promise it'll make a huge difference. Huge difference. All right, let me see here. My mom has lost 100+ pounds. Holy guacamole. That's amazing. What a huge achievement. WFPB.
Don't know what that is.
White flour peanut butter diet. I'm okay with the peanut butter. It's the white flour part. I don't understand. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means, you guys. I'm making that up. Has kept it off. No sugar, processed foods. Yes, that's the key right there. It's the simple sugars and
maybe it is white flour.
And the simple carbohydrates that cause Whole Foods plant-based.
Okay.
That's brilliant. Whole Foods plant. What a great idea. We should tell you this. Hi, Yale. let's see. So 100 pounds, kept it off. You guys, it's the sugars. Most
Mhm.
of us, we've been told that it's fat.
Fat.
It's not fat.
It's not fat. Eat more fats
And less
like
sugars.
butter.
It's the sugars that's turning into fat.
And, coconut oil, and eat less sugar.
So she's saying, I have a hard time with the low carb mentality. Just being honest. Thank you for your honesty. I think we all have a hard time with a low carb
bread
mentality.
that we get. It's really, really good.
My husband is keto, nice, and such great health. So it is possible. There's just different ways to approach health. Oh, so
yes.
Is it possible?
Yes.
There are just different ways to approach health. Struggle with figuring out what is right for me. Yep. And you got to find out what's right for you, what works for you, and so it's sustainable. More personal experience discussed with that. I love whole foods and plant-based. All of us, I can confidently say this. All of us should be eating more vegetables. It should be the bulk of our diets, eat vegetables. And then the keto type process really is just cutting back simple carbohydrates and sugars. That's what's getting most of us in trouble.
Well, and I mean, I think your point here too is with more, because it's whole food plant-based. And yeah, keto can generally include a lot more meat and fats. Keto is all about fats and meat and low carbs. And we've studied all of that. Again, my dad died from colon cancer, so I've pretty much looked into every diet out there. And ultimately, there was a time when I was almost vegetarian, almost vegan. I almost went raw once. And I have a friend that's raw. But ultimately, we came back to...
I tried raw for like the afternoon, and I was like, I can't do that.
Anyways, we came back to eating meat that is
grass-fed.
Grass-fed is pretty much where we're at. Now, that's not 100% because, chicken, it's hard to get, well, they don't have grass-fed chicken really.
Free range.
We get free range chicken, and we get grass-fed beef. That's pretty much what we eat. And we have a lot of reasons for doing meat. But back to this idea, are there different ways for different people? Absolutely. Because everybody has a different body type, different metabolism, different biochemistry. So different diets are going to work for different people. Even within our own family, this is another thing too, is we really focus on this listening to your body type thing. And we have one child, she loves meat. She craves meat. She needs meat. And she loves to eat like the bones and the fat and like all this stuff. And she's been like that since she was born. We have another daughter.
Can't stand it.
Not that she can't stand it.
Every time we make it, she's like, oh.
Well, a lot of it, but she'll eat like a little bit of chicken, and that's about it. And that's just her thing. She doesn't want it. She doesn't crave it. It's just not the same thing. So yeah, I definitely think listening to your body is ultimately the key. Now, if of course you still have to use wisdom there, because if your body's saying McDonald's every day or chocolate chip cookies,
don't listen. Your body's lying.
In that case, that's an addiction, and that's a different problem.
I love it. Okay, so it's been 4 years. So this is her mom, 4 years now.
Space for a 33-foot motorhome.
Not at this place. We need to get our place. You guys can bring your motorhomes over. We're gonna have a whole motorhome section in our place. Motorhome parking for our cool friends with motorhomes. So she's hiking, such an inspiration. That's awesome. Love it, love it. Yeah. Because she was doing no meat, no dairy. We do some, again, organic dairy, so it doesn't have the chemicals in it and that kind of stuff.
And low fat.
He's on the GOYB diet. Get off your butt.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good diet right there. So we do high fat diets. Love it. Mostly it helps with some ADD and ADHD, which is brain stuff. Your brain, your brain needs lots and lots of fat. If you didn't know that, then we've been researching the brain a ton. Your brain needs lots and lots of good fats. And so when the brain has fat deficiencies, it gets into more struggles like that. So,
and we have a child with ADD, and they had a brain scan done. And that was one of the things the doctor said is more fats. Your brain needs fats. Your brain operates mostly on fats.
So if you feel brain fog a lot and your brain doesn't feel real active or alert, you have kids that are kind of just, get more fats, lots of good healthy fats in their in their brains. Like again, grass-fed butters, avocados, just the good fats.
Coconut oil.
Nice. Yeah, Georgia's close to Florida. We can go down. Like they're very, because it is so individualized for your body type. Love that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Listen to your body. There's lots of body types. Just go. Okay. Any questions about health or fitness? I'm happy to answer any questions here on that. I would like to invite all of you to set some kind of health goal. I know this is,
going into the holidays.
It's going into the holidays. Perfect timing for health goals. It's going to prevent us from just throwing in the towel and doing everything. Okay. Let's see. Trying to catch up here.
Okay. Links to some of the things you've studied. So much conflicting information out there.
Yep. There's tons of that.
I'll have to compile some information.
We really like the book. It's called The Brain Warrior's Way.
And I really like, there's an entire website and book that's called Nourishing Traditions.
Ooh, yeah.
Is a book that I would wholly recommend. And Weston Price is a website that it's kind of related to the Nourishing Traditions philosophy, but he has a whole website called Weston Price. And this was a guy.
Well, that's a lucky guess.
Was a guy that studied traditional people, like indigenous people. So he went around the whole world studying indigenous people, and the way he determined good health was teeth. That's what he looked for, because he noticed when teeth were healthy, that was a side effect of a healthy diet. So he would look at because he was looking for people who didn't do like dental hygiene, but still had really great teeth. And so those people, he would look at their diet and what they ate, and then find the common denominators of like, well, okay, what's the common denominator in these diets that these people are eating where they don't like brush their teeth and do dental hygiene, but they have good teeth. And so that's Weston Price, and he has a whole website with all kinds of information about that. And again, he talks about healthy fats. He's really, really big on bone broths. In fact, Nourishing Traditions is also really big on bone broths and fermented foods. So like yogurts, kimchi, sauerkrauts, fermented mare's milk.
That's what I was thinking of. If you're ever in Mongolia in the summer, some fermented mare's milk.
I've heard it's disgusting though.
Special. It is special, and they love it, and it's like this honor. So when you go visit they live in yurts, they're gears, and when you go visit, everybody offers you fermented mare's milk.
And my daughter says it tastes like vinegar.
You better buckle up, because it's so sour your jaw locks up. And you got to drink it joyfully. It's awesome. Okay.
Wait. I'm running my first 5K next week, right before my 40th birthday. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, I love that. Good. Fantastic.
So proud. I've discovered reggaeton music. I personally don't really like it as much, but it's fantastic to spontaneously exercise
too in the kitchen. Nice. That's right. Spontaneous dance in the kitchen, my friends.
That's
so
how it
good.
is with our kids and their pop music. Spontaneous dancing. Love Nourishing Traditions. Yep, it's pretty cool. Gotta go. See ya. Thanks.
Okay.
So yeah, that's awesome.
White food, no.
Severely off white food.
No modern fast foods, bread or rice. Yep, love it. Okay. Okay, good. So let's hit it. Tonight or today or wherever you are in the world, it's tomorrow morning for our Aussie friends. We want to talk about order and chaos.
Again. Why?
Because it's so fascinating. Isn't life just this dance between order and chaos? It really is this. When you step back and think about it that way, conceptually, you really back up and be like, okay, everything can be broken down into order or chaos, from the conversations or disagreements you have, to your email inbox, to that
To your desk, to your office,
desk,
to the
to
fridge,
a project or a problem you're dealing with. From your thoughts to your emotions. How many of you have some chaos in your thoughts sometimes? Just two of us, huh? Well, okay. How many of you have some chaos? You feel some emotional chaos? Yeah, huh? That one comes rolling in. You're like, what is this storm I am sensing? Right? Some of you who's got some chaos with relationships, aka drama. Holy guacamole, right? Drama, people and their drama, man. Actually, we should teach the drama triangle. That's so good. It's so good. Okay, so there's chaos and there's order. There's chaos and order. And when we go, anytime we're solving something, healing something, fixing something, organizing something, we're bringing
trying to achieve something like a goal.
Yeah, even achievements is bringing order into your world and into your life.
So it's taking the chaos that exists, because chaos just exists. It just is. Like, it's just a natural law of the universe. Chaos exists. So part of what we do as human beings, in fact, part of the way we find fulfillment as human beings is by learning how to order the chaos, learning how to manage and control the chaos as much as possible in our lives. Like, we'll never be able to do it 100%, but that is actually where we find a lot of meaning in our life. And there's two, we're going to get into this. I'm just going to introduce it real quick. There's two different levels of ordering the chaos. And we're going to talk about that and explain it, because one of them has to happen before the other. In fact, it's your future success, all the things you want to achieve, all the things you want to do, all the goals you have depend on this first level of chaos management being mastered.
What is it?
Wow.
I'm dying.
I'm
to
waiting
know.
for you to do whatever else you had to say, and then we can
So,
get into it.
How many of you just feel this like mental, emotional, spiritual need to bring order to things? Like, oh my goodness, when we travel around the world, when we're out, whatever, like everywhere, every time I walk outside, I'm like, ooh, I could plant some things here. I could grow some things there, right? Every time
Prune those bushes.
you're in a house, you're like, we could
sweep the
remodel this,
steps.
fix this. I want to build something, build this, build that. I want to build a big deck out here. You travel somewhere and you're like, do you know what we could do with this country if we had a little more order here, right? We go to Guatemala every year. And every time there, I'm like, what would Guatemala be like if we brought some Germans over here?
Or Swiss.
And or some Swiss. Bring a few Germans, a few Swiss over, boy. Woo! This place would look like Switzerland real fast. It would be amazing because it brings some order to some of the chaos. Now, I love me some good chaos here and there. But man, there's just
and that's
drive.
One of the reasons traveling to those countries is fun, is because it is chaos. Like, ask any of our kids, and some of our favorite countries that we'll all say is someplace like Morocco, where chaos rules. Like, it really does. But that's one of the things that makes it so intriguing.
Okay, add this to your bucket list. One day I want you to rent a car and drive in Morocco.
Wow.
And buckle up and make sure you have really great
or
insurance.
Just ride in a car in Morocco.
Go to Lima. Go to Lima and take a taxi.
You wouldn't even drive.
I wouldn't drive in Lima. It is insane. And it's organized chaos and it works, but holy guacamole, it's an adventure. Wow. Okay. So tonight I want to really focus in and help, and please do this. Please go here with us, and each of you kind of get in your own space. Where do you have some chaos in your life? So if you got something to write with, you got some notes, just jot down some thoughts here. What are the areas where you have chaos? These are going to be pain points in your, and get as specific as you can. We're going to have you share a few things here, but on your own notes, get very specific. So if it is family, what area specifically? It might be with a certain person. It might be, I want you to think through everything. Like, how is your stuff organized online? What does your email inbox look like? Your messages. Your tabs. Oh man, are you one of those people that has like unorganized matter across
3,700 tabs.
your
open?
tabs.
It's kind of like.
Yeah. My computer crashed and died.
I think it's because you had
It
too many
may
tabs
have been
open.
because I had like 1,200
it
tabs
was.
open that I was working on all of those. What does your garage look like? What does your pantry look like? What is that
Laundry
drawer?
room.
You know that drawer of things you need to
And
keep, miscellaneous
You're going to
things?
understand in a minute why we're talking about your space, because we mentioned it last time, but we're going to add to that. But yeah, we are mentioning your space. And that's for a
So
specific
all,
reason.
all your space. Keep going. So go through.
But you don't have to mention just your space. Mention other things.
In your
Maybe-
mind palace right now. Go through every area of your life. Maybe it's with your past. Anybody got some chaos in the past that you still drag around with you? You're like, oh yeah, remember that time? And there's still chaos. It's never been ordered.
Maybe it's with your finances. Maybe yeah, we're gonna touch all the.
Oh man, now it's starting to hurt. Rachel wants to hit all the pain points in one.
Get me some lemon juice out.
Get him some lemon juice. Pour a little salt on those wounds. We're going there, friends. And here's why. Well, no.
You're gonna go there. Say why now?
Well, just briefly.
Okay.
May I?
Yes.
Nah, I'll wait. I'll make you wait. But keep thinking. Because in your past, go through in your mind palace, go through your entire life, every little corner.
I know for me, I will often feel increased levels of chaos when I'm dealing with big decisions that have to be made. We had to decide whether we were moving out of our house by January 1st. So that was temporary chaos because I had to dig into that. Like, that's not something you can just wait on. I don't have 6 weeks to decide. I have 6 weeks to move if we're doing it, right? So you have to go into
She
this.
makes such a big deal out of moving in 6 weeks.
Don't.
It's like,
I'll smack him.
ow!
Yeah,
Ooh,
so
how about decision chaos?
well, that's
How
what
many
I
of
was
you
talking about.
experienced-
Decision
right,
chaos.
Well, you make this big deal of moving in 6 weeks.
It was
I'm
the
just kidding. I'm just
deciding,
kidding. I'm kidding. I like to tease her.
I know.
Okay, so Heather, I had to pay Google $20 last year so I would stop getting that you're full on storage message.
Yes, exactly.
Somebody has too many emails. I did too. I finally just like, I'm deleting 1,000 of those and unsubscribing, right? So I brought some order to my inbox. I had to unsubscribe from a lot of this junk mail, and I had to just delete a lot of stuff that I was going to get to, right? So we good on this for a minute here? Like, go through every area of your life. Now, here's another little exercise I want you to do real quick mentally. Walk through your life again, your house, your yard, your interaction, your daily, weekly actions, work, whatever it is, your car. What annoys you? What are you consistently bothered or irritated with? That is a little flashing light of chaos. 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 Does that make sense? You might have like some old thing this needs to get rid of, or this broken thing you're going to fix, and you've been going to fix it for 10 years. Anybody have some remodeling projects that are still undone? Anybody have some projects that are undone? Right? There's some chaos there. So
Why does this matter?
a couple of you are like, everything is in chaos. Help.
I'm a planner. COVID is driving me insane.
Ugh.
Yes, it is definitely much harder to make, especially travel plans.
Yep. Disruptive.
We are taking a cruise to the Galapagos for our 20th anniversary in March. So I am in the midst of planning that, and it is tough because we have to get a COVID test to go into Ecuador, and then we have to give it a COVID test to go to
leave Ecuador.
to go to the Galapagos. But if we get the test within 4 days and we go to Ecuador and then the Galapagos within 4 days, it's fine. But how do we do that if it takes 3 days to get the result? I'm like, it's a challenge. So it's legit.
Yeah, our life's hard.
I know. Nobody knows how we suffer.
Okay, here we go. So, my friends, roll with me here.
Should I start with the first level? The first. Are you ready for that?
I'm just reading this. Man, haven't seen his mom since. Oh, tough.
Are you gonna read
We're
it
both.
out loud?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just reading in the chat here. So hard year, losing father-in-law, beginning of 2020. Husband's driving his mom back to New York at the beginning of February. Celebration of life was canceled. So hard. We haven't seen his mom since then.
Wow.
Both only children, so it's been very difficult. Husband's grandmother's almost 98, so his mom won't visit Florida. Oh, tough. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
you guys. There's some tough
Yeah.
stuff going on.
It's legit. And so chaos, I mean, it's more than just the stuff. Chaos as a force of the universe includes this stuff, right? It includes the torment and the discomfort and the sadness and all the emotions, right? All of the emotions that are generated from all the little things. And what happens with things like this is it's all these things that occur and we start to stack these different feelings. Okay? And that is also a form of chaos because as we stack the emotions, instead of processing them and ordering them, right? Then we become more emotionally chaotic, for lack of a better term, and it gets harder to deal with even the small things. So then small things start to set us off, not because we're like terrible people or totally impatient, but because we have all of this chaos, emotional chaos, mental chaos, uncertainty, limbo, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing what to plan on. And it starts to wear on you. So this whole idea of taking chaos and turning it into order, at least as much as possible, because we can never 100% order 100% of our lives, but it's an ongoing process that we need to constantly be working through. And as we do that, it first of all helps us to deal with what we're facing. And then it also helps us to become more capable, more confident, more resilient, and to become the people that then our families can actually rely on. They turn to us, they look to us because we can handle the challenges of life. We can handle the chaos of life and we know how to bring order to it. Okay, so.
Whoa, that was good.
I could not see my grandma for the next 3 months before she passed away.
Yeah, super sorry to hear that, Laura. That's tough. Man, see, there's some of this chaos gets really painful, doesn't it? And it gets really personal.
Mm-hmm.
And then other part of it is just genuinely annoying. And it starts stacking against you. And okay, so here's what I want to ask. I want to ask you, Rachel just touched on a few things, but I want to ask you, why do you need order? I guess what I'm asking, I want to get to is why is this a must for you? A lot of us live in this, well, I could. We live in this should, could world a lot. We tell ourselves these stories. I could do that. I should do that. Why must you, and this I'm asking personally, why must you get your life ordered? And tell me why. Like either the positive or the negative. It might be a pain point. You're like, if I don't, I'm literally gonna crack. In fact, you guys, I just got out of a coaching session this afternoon. There was so much chaos in her marriage. She told me, she's like, literally 6 weeks ago, I was ready to die. I did not want to live anymore. It can go that far. The chaos was, and that's how she described it. The fear, the feelings, the just torment, the emotional and mental torture of the pain of her marriage and with all their kids being affected. Like it got that far. And luckily she just got there and switched it. And man, they're doing way, way better now. It's amazing. but it can go that far. So why do you personally, why is this a must for you? Why must you bring order to your chaos? And you can throw it in the chat, or you can come on mic too. But let's hit what? We got some?
It's in the chat.
What's in the chat? Order gives me clarity and peace. All in favor of a little more clarity and peace in life. Can I get an amen on a Wednesday?
And that is exactly what it's intended to do. Like, that is the purpose of bringing order, because it does bring clarity and it brings peace.
Well, okay, now, duh, Captain Obvious here. Sorry, but like, what's the opposite of clarity and peace? Well, it's a lot of
Confusion and
confusion
suffering.
and torment, which, hey, let's be totally honest. Many of us are often there. We're often experiencing confusion, frustration, brain fog, turmoil. And a lot of you guys, like that's why we're hitting this so hard and making such a big deal out of this. A lot of your inner turmoil and your confusion and where you get stagnation, where you're not making progress, is because you have a whole bunch of chaos that's preventing you from really moving forward. And so you're living in a space of like, gosh, I have no peace. And once you start ordering things, even small things, because I know some of you asked in here, like, hey, if everything's in chaos, where do I start, right? Even starting with a few small things, it brings peace immediately. It's really awesome.
I'm just going to explain the two different things right now, then, just because you kind of touched on it.
Okay.
I want to expound on that. So, but to expound on it, I'm going to have to talk about this. So
let's stop right there. We'll keep them in anticipation.
Oh, stop. You're doing that on purpose.
I got to keep reading all these though.
I know, we will. We'll come back to them. Okay, so I was talking about there's two different, I'm going to call them levels of chaos. Don't sit down. I'm not giving a lecture, just sharing some points here. The first level is this idea of bringing order to the chaos that's already existing around you. Okay, I'm going to try and explain this the best I can. That there is chaos that exists. In fact, it's all around you. Whether that's relationships, whether that's your thoughts, whether that's your health, whether it's your money, whether it's the house, whatever it is, all these things we talked about. Okay, it exists and it is there. So that's the one level of chaos we have to deal with. The other level of chaos that we have to deal with is the chaos of creating what it is you want to achieve. Whether that's financial freedom, an improved marriage, your business goals, your whatever, all goals, all things you want to create. You want to write a book, you want to fill in the blank. You fill in the blank with your thing, okay? That's another level of chaos, because essentially in order to do that thing, you have to take chaos, which is essentially unorganized matter, for lack of a better phrase, and you have to turn it into order. So say writing a book, you have to take your ideas and your thoughts that exist out who knows where and bring them into order, right? And that's true for everything you want to achieve in life. You're taking what you can't articulate or you can't point at, it's not concrete, and you're bringing it into existence by creating order from chaos, right? It's a form of creation. Now, the one thing that people often miss, and I know that we miss this for a long time, and I've heard, people in this group and in our other groups say, well, I'm trying to achieve my goals, but I just can't seem to do it. I can't make progress. I can't, this or that. And very often that is because you have to manage this first level of chaos well before you can effectively manage this level of chaos. Until you have control, and I'm not talking about 100% control because you'll never be at 100%, but as you gain more control in this first level of chaos, you will have more power in this level. Thank you.
Yes, man. Whoa, that was good. Are you feeling it? I'm feeling it. Like, we often get stopped in our progress towards our goals because we haven't brought some order to a few of the things that are just holding us up. They act like weights or anchors or clutter along our own runway. We can't take off because there's some clutter. Man,
Well,
this is good.
and here's a realization I had too. And I say these things because I have experienced these things. Okay? I have gone through this process. And as we've leveled up in our own goals and achievements, it's only happened because we were able to get more control over the chaos that we had in our life, whether that's a house or our travel or, you know, our business, our finances, all these different things. As we learn to control that chaos and manage that chaos effectively, and to look in every little corner of that, right? Because there's this idea that unless you literally search in every corner of whatever you own, you don't really own it or control it. So that's like every corner, every closet, every drawer. And we say, oh, that's so overwhelming. How do I do that? But if you can't do that, something that's already yours, already in your possession, already in your stewardship, how can you do more? And if you want to live your dream life, you're actually learning how to do more, because that's what your dream life is. It's doing more than you're doing now.
They're like, no, it isn't. It's doing nothing. That's my dream life.
That gets boring fast. We've tried
Really
it.
fast. Okay, man, this stuff is so good. So good. Okay. Speaking of so good, we need to invite more of our friends into this group, huh? Let's keep inviting cool people in here. You guys are awesome. Okay, so I want to keep reading so why are the reasons we have to get order? You personally, why do you need to bring order? Because as a mom, if I am out of order, it affects my whole family.
Yes.
True for dads too.
It's the law of physics, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Next, so I can keep it together because my family needs me. Oh man, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be the rock all year. We finally turned the corner, thank God. That's beautiful.
See, but there's
I
power
get
in
that.
that.
Yeah, there is.
There is power in being the rock. And not that we don't have feelings, also not that we don't have needs, and not that we don't have, you know, our weak moments.
Or need breaks
That's all
support.
legitimate, right? Or need breaks or need support, all of that. But to be the rock, we all know that ultimately that's more inspiring and noble than being the mess, right? We don't want to
write
be
that
the
down,
mess.
quote it, put it on Instagram. Oh man.
Yeah, we want to be the rock. We don't want to be the mess. And we admire those who are the rock, not the ones who are the mess.
And what makes them the rock? I think we'd all agree they got their crap together.
Right. They know how
Come
to
on!
order chaos. Okay.
Oh, this is good. Okay, happiness, so I can feel more relaxed. Okay, I love it. Just want to check out when things.
I just have to add this. Happiness, I'm going to keep reemphasizing this. Happiness comes not from achieving goals, but
From ordering your life.
Working towards them, making progress on an aim. That's where real happiness comes from. And ultimately, yeah, that's bringing order to chaos. That's what that is.
Love it. Another one said, I just want to check out when things are too out of order. Who can relate to that? You're like, I need to go find a corner in my closet or crawl right back into bed, or I'm just going to go check out over here and binge watch Netflix for the next 47 hours, right? Somehow the order will take care of itself while I'm gone in this other world, right? In fantasy land. You're right. And that's not good for anyone when we just check out, right? I have to have order because when I'm in chaos, I cannot be in the moment with my family. Oh, who can relate to that one? You're there, but you're not there. It's so hard to be present when you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually are in chaos. I know some of
or
you,
physically.
you're sitting there and you're with your family, but in your mind, you're trying to solve this problem with work or with this other person or with yourself. So the lights are on, but no
Or
one's
the
home.
mess that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Oh man, this is good. Can I get how do what's the I don't know how to refer to this, so I'm just going to go there. Any of you struggle being intimate when there's chaos?
Thanks for pointing at me. I think that's especially true for women.
Yeah,
yes,
it
I will
is.
say that.
And
because
when we were
it's
first
better coming
married,
from me than
when,
from you.
when we
but-
were first married, she's like, the dishes. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do the dishes have to do with me? Right? But now I understand if
The open tabs.
and
I have to
with
close
chaos,
some
you got to get some order.
tabs.
Like this is
have some
it-
sex.
like it's true. It affects our relationships. Who's picking up when I'm sitting down here? Anybody? Yeah. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Peace. Why must we bring order? Peace, simplicity, being able to move through things, make better decisions. That one's
Yes.
huge. Because
Back
things
to the
are clearer.
clarity.
Yeah.
When you have order, you have more clarity, which means you can make better decisions. It is literally true. Okay, we've talked about biochemistry. Your biochemistry changes depending on the emotions you have. And when you have different biochemistry, you're almost a different person and you make different decisions. So when you have the biochemistry of being ordered, right? Meaning you feel peace, you have clarity, all these things, you are going to make better decisions than when you're disordered and chaotic. And then, unfortunately, you get the consequences of those negative decisions because you weren't clearly thinking. So it's this negative spiral, and then we wonder, why is our life totally chaotic?
It creates more chaos.
Chaos creates more chaos. Order creates more order, right?
Is this hitting? You guys, this stuff is amazing. Chaos creates more chaos. Order creates more order. So we want to have order. Let's start moving start creating momentum for order.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what Rachel was just saying about biochemistry, it's like literal biochemistry. How many of you feel really good when you've checked something off? You go through a little checklist and you check it off and you feel awesome, right? What you're doing is you're actually getting hits of dopamine. Your body, you're literally hardwired when you accomplish something, when you achieve something, when you order something, your body gives you dopamine, and dopamine makes you feel good. That's what's happening. You're hardwired, all of us, we are hardwired to bring order to things. So, a couple of things here. You all made your list. You shared some things about like why you need to bring order, right? Nice.
Finish your thought, then we'll go back.
Okay. Now I just lost my thought.
Great.
And I'm gonna drive this home. Ready? What happens? Jump ahead. You've got to be able to see this. It's second and third level thinking. What happens if you don't change? What happens if you just keep leaving things in chaos? Where does this lead? And that may be chaos in your past. It may be chaos on your computer. It may be chaos in your relationships. It may be chaos in your garage. What happens eventually if you don't change? And I'm getting serious here because I want to get serious. Like, what's the end road of continuing down this path of chaos that some of you have gotten into the habit of chaos?
Appearing on an episode of Hoarders.
Yes, a life out of control. No dream, no living the mission.
That right there, like we could just say,
well
amen.
said. Yeah. Amen.
That's it right there. Because ultimately, that is the end result. That's why we're here. That's why we're having this conversation. Okay, you guys, why are you here listening to us on a Wednesday night? I don't know. Except I do know, because you want to live a more fulfilling life. You want to fulfill your dreams. You have dreams. We all have dreams. And we're here telling you, if you don't order the chaos, you can't achieve your dreams. And that is a hard pill to swallow sometimes. Trust us. We've had to swallow it. It's not easy, but it is the path. And we can tell you because we have walked it.
I am having a vision right now of Rachel and I doing a reality show where we come to each of your houses and we're like, tonight's episode is bringing order to this good family. And we just go through all the corners and all the things physically,
Why do you
mentally,
have
emotionally.
this in your house?
What is this? How long have you left this here? Come on.
Oh gosh.
I love this stuff. I love it. I love it. Love it. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. What happens? What happens if we don't bring? If we just keep doing things as we've been doing them? Well, you miss opportunities. Right. I'm reading from the chat here. More chaos comes into your world. Who wants to perpetuate that? It almost starts working as compound interest, right? Exactly. Compound interest of chaos. No, thank you.
Hoarders. That's what I'm saying. That's compound
That's
interest.
true. You guys all need to watch an episode of Hoarders. It's so disturbing. Oh,
They have like a warning before. Warning. This may show disturbing things. Like the lady.
Oh, we won't even go there.
We're not even
Oh,
going there.
it was so sad. Okay, another one. Life slips away, and I never do the things I dream of doing. Hold that thought just for a second to create enough pain, because here's what happens. We often don't face the chaos because we tell ourselves it's going to be too painful to take care of it. Oh, it's too much. It's too big. It's such a problem. And so we're in these constant avoidance patterns because you're saying it's painful, it's painful, painful. What I want to do right now psychologically is point you to where there's more pain. Which is more painful? Ordering the chaos, or how did she say it? Life slips away and I never do the things I dream of doing. Which one's more painful? The
50
latter.
years into the future.
Yeah. And you look back and you're like, I didn't live my dream because this was all just chaos. I never got control of it.
Now, here's the thing
Woo!
I want to emphasize. You have the power to order the chaos. It is not out of your control. Now, it might feel like it's out of your control. It might feel like it's overwhelming. It might feel like it's beyond your capability, but it's not, because you don't have to do it all at once. All you have to do is think of one simple thing you can do, and that you can do and you will do, because there are things you can do but you don't want to do or you're avoiding. That's fine. Don't deal with that yet. Pick the thing you can do and the thing you will do, and you start there. And if you did that every single day, you would bring order to your life. And that's all it is. Momentum. Okay. Chaos has a momentum, but so does order. So the more you focus on ordering the things in your life, the more order that will bring into your life. And that momentum will grow. Now, it's already started. This is why we're talking about it again, because last time we talked about decluttering. That's the beginning of bringing order. And here we are again talking about it again, because we want you to continue that momentum.
Where you become, okay, who wants some of this? You become a force of nature and you get things done. And people are
Ordered
like,
nature.
How do you do that? How do you do that? Mickey, I already wonder how you all do all your real estate deals and all that stuff. You're already rocking it, right? We want to be like that. We want to be people who are like, man, we get things done, right? You want that identity. You want to be that person. You are that person. You just got to get rid of the chaos first. Okay, let me keep going. Ideally, no regrets when I die, whether that's tomorrow or 50 years from now. Keep going. I would add, I'm learning that life is about connection and I can't be connected fully when I am in chaos. Oh, amen. Oh, Baleen says that would be fun. Sweet trip to Alaska, babe. First show up in Alaska. I really like some steps to ordering the chaos. I've tried reading, attending these classes, bringing experts to different areas, and nothing seems to work. Is there a formula for real change I'm just missing? Oh, we're going to hit it.
So, well,
Seems like I keep putting the same spaces in order over and over again, never getting to other areas. Ooh, okay, great. All right.
That's good.
Let's go. So first of all, though, I want everyone to share at least one thing, one example, because it'll spark ideas and maybe bring some enlightenment or inspiration to others. I want everyone to share at least one area of your life you'd like to order, something that's in chaos. Just throw it in the chat box there. One area of your life that you feel is in chaos right now and needs to be ordered. And the reason we do this is because when you articulate it, when you bring it into the open, there's some ownership of it. Because otherwise, we love to sweep things under the rugs. We love to forget about that thing and not mention it. It becomes the unmentionable, right? And nobody brings it up. But when we get together like this, we're like, hey, we need to bring some chaos into order. What's one of your chaoses? And you're like, like, well, I'm sorry, what was that? And when it just comes out and you get it in the open, like, boom, this is my thing. This is my thing. It needs to be dealt with. Okay. The budget. Yeah. The budget. There's actually some really great apps for that. In fact, Mindy, if you're still here, what's that budget you guys use? Throw that in there. I know that's a great one. My book. So you're writing. Very nice. Fantastic. Need to order years and years of family pictures. Okay, great. Look at that. Look at that. Even a family picture thing. You know that it's either in a box if it's there, or it's digitally. It's just in a box, whatever. Just one thing like that. You know it's there. It's in the back. It's in the operating system. You're like, it's always there. Just it just needs to be done. We have all these things, and most of us have stacks and stacks of things that need to be ordered. Okay, finances. Every time we meet a goal, something huge happens, just sets us back again and again. Mealtime, grocery shopping, food storage. Yes, yes, and yes. Kids always fighting about everything. Okay, playroom, general cleanliness of the house. Homeschool.
Oh, yeah. You need a budget. That's what that is. YNAB.
YNAB is the app. So those of you who want some app help, maybe this will work for you to get some budget stuff. Okay, nice. Heather's totally second there. Change lives. Change the financial conversations together. There's a couple. Fantastic. Thank you. Business papers like session notebooks, session guides and lessons, goal posters, keeping track of payments, right? So those of you who are doing, I'm pretty sure a lot of this group has some little side hustle businesses going on, or you're business owners or entrepreneurs. So you've got that on top of other stuff. Some of you are doing home education. You got that on top of it. So we got a lot going on. None of us, if I can emphasize this, none of us can afford to be letting our life just wallow in chaos. You can't do it. You simply cannot afford to be chaotic if you are ambitious. Yes, you can write that down. You know what I'm saying? I just want to emphasize that. We simply cannot afford to be chaotic if we're going to be ambitious. If you want to do nothing with yourself and sit around and be miserable, let the chaos roll, people. Let the chaos roll. Okay.
Well, still may result in suffering, but...
Yeah, those are going to be that. Okay, I have a pile of papers in front of my computer keyboard. So things I'm working on did not quite finish when I ran out of time, right? I had another coaching session today, awesome lady. And I was talking to her about this. This came up and she's like, yeah, I have a pile of notes that I need to go through. And I set them on the piano bench and they've stayed on the piano bench. So nobody's playing the piano. And it was a simple example, but literally the chaos was preventing music from happening. There's one simple example, right? You're like, well, I can move the chaos to another place, but it was a perfect example of one good thing can't happen because another thing is stalling it. It was really great. It was a really great visual. Meal planning, the basement. Okay.
Great things.
Fantastic. Great list. Thanks, everybody.
So now back to the question, the answer.
Where do we begin? What do we do?
Where do you begin and how do you keep it in order? Because it seems like it's getting out of order into chaos again and again.
Maybe can I go there? So
yeah, and then I'll.
Okay, then you deliver the goods. So if you bring it to order, but then it quickly goes right back to order. So it's almost like first level, second level. First level is you get it into order once, but then it falls right back into disorder and you have to bring it back to order again. Second level, I would say, is when you bring it to order and it stays that way. You've set up a system that now it's done. Like I go in and I clean this up. I brought it to order. And then 2 days later I go back, what? I had made order here. What's wrong? Right? You got to go to the next level ordering. Yes. Where you get systems in place and we're like, okay, this thing taken care of once and for all, it is done. And this will not be disordered again in my lifetime. And
yeah, I like what you're saying there. That's what I was going to say, is that usually the reason that happens is because of systems. Systems are what keep things in order, because we can order things 100 times, but unless we have a system for maintaining order, it goes right back into chaos. Because remember, chaos is the norm. Chaos is natural. Chaos is easy. Now, so one of the reasons I often see where things don't stay ordered, especially like in a house, is because one, there's too much stuff. If you have more things than can legitimately fit, and by fit, I don't mean like, yeah, you can stuff it all in there.
It's smashed in. I mean,
fit that it has its own place, everything in its place. It has its own place. You can put it in and out with, say, one hand, and that's it.
And there's space.
And if you have
it.
more stuff than that, and it takes two hands to get it in and out, and all, like, you have too much stuff. So no wonder there's disorder, because order requires the system to be easy. So when I have a system and I have a place for everything, meaning in my drawers, I have little things separating. And in my cupboards, I have the shelves, and there's a place for everything in the cupboard, and stuff isn't stacked up too high so that you can't get it out or put it back in. Then I have order, and I maintain order because everyone knows where the stuff goes.
Okay, that's second level.
For the most part.
So ordering it is getting the little organizers in the drawer for all the utensils, for example. She went through and got all that. So everything's organized there. Second level order is training all the children whose job it is to put it away, to put it in the right place. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. They do it. They know, and they put it in the basket. It's just training. You get in the training, you're like, boom, done. So now she brought order, first level and second level, to kitchen drawers.
Now, initially, that seems like more work, and it is, but it's not in the long run because order is maintained. So I put in the work to create the system, and I invested the money, because you often have to, buy the baskets and the things and the stuff. But making those investments of time and money then keep my house mostly ordered, and it's never 100% for anyone, because I have the systems in place. And we've heard it before. It's a cute little saying, a place for everything and everything in its place. But it's like legit. If you want to have
there's a reason to stay
order, then you do. You have a place for everything, and you put everything in its place, and then you have order. Okay. So how do you?
So hold on, wait. I was going to go there. I was going to confidently say, I would bet most of you have too much stuff, and there's
we say that because we have too much.
We have too much stuff,
and so, we've only lived here for a year.
Stuff is like barnacles on
moss,
your ship.
It
grows on you. It's so annoying. But like, see it this way. man, it was like Mother Teresa talked about it. Henry David Thoreau talked about it a lot. He says, you don't possess your possessions, they possess you. And everything we have,
Every single
every
thing,
single
all of
thing
it.
you have takes up time or space or energy or thought or money or resources or moving it. Even you're like that thing in the corner, it's there. Everything you have demands more of you. So it's just very, very simple equations and very simple math. Fewer things means easier management. So one of the very first and best things you guys can do, all of you, and this is just from my heart because we went through it, get rid of a lot of stuff. Just do it. It feels a little painful at first, but man, when you just let it go, I sold a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace the last couple of weeks. It felt fantastic. Took a whole truckload to the Goodwill.
Just this morning.
You let it out of your life and you're like, hallelujah.
You feel
it feels
free.
amazing.
Now,
And then it's a whole truckload of things that I don't have to manage now, and Rachel doesn't have to manage. The kids don't have to deal with. Like,
and it literally is less bandwidth on your time and energy. Now, we're not minimalists. We're essentialists, right?
Yes.
You can see we like our nice things, but we like them ordered. And if it's not in order, then what's the point? It's just bringing more chaos. Now, question, like how do you get rid of sentimental stuff? I have a real block with that. Well, first, one, identify why you have a block with that. Like, ask yourself, okay, what's the deal here? Is it with a specific thing? Is it with sentimental stuff in general? And what I would do in a case like that, I'd get a tote for all the sentimental stuff I'm not sure if I can get rid of, put it in there, leave it in there for 6 months, and then go through it again and be like, do I still really want this? Like, why is this taking up space in my house?
And some of it, we did this before. We kept sentimental stuff when we first started
And
traveling
I still
years
have
ago.
sentimental stuff. I have a tote of pictures and baby blankets.
Yeah, there's things that we don't want to let go of. A lot of it we found like, yeah, this is sentimental, but honestly, we haven't looked at it in 10 years. And if we're totally honest with ourselves, we're not going to touch it again for another 10 years. And it'll only be to pull it out and say, oh, look, why do we still have this?
But on the other hand, there is sentimental stuff that's worth keeping.
It's worth keeping.
Like,
yep.
It's not necessarily good or bad that it's sentimental stuff you want to keep. Just analyze why.
Okay. So another comment. That's my problem. Getting my children's spouse to help maintain the order when I cross it. Right. I don't know how to get them on board. So that is a level of order. So part of your role is bringing order to the people who live with you, who are often chaos creators.
Which is natural. Nobody, like, I don't think I've met one child yet that's naturally ordered. Some are more ordered than others, but children bring chaos. Spouses bring chaos.
Hey.
I've heard of some spouses that bring chaos. So it does require a level of training. And this is when we get into another arena, right? The chaos of learning how to influence others.
Leadership.
Yeah. You have to bring order to that chaos as well, because yeah, you have this vague idea that you can influence your family members, but until you bring that into order, into skills you can actually use that actually work, you haven't brought chaos to order. So everything you're dealing with, every challenge you're facing, you can look at from those two different ways. Is this physical physical chaos I need to bring order to, or is it this creation type chaos I need to bring order to? And it might be some of both, but you don't solve the problems until you learn how to bring that order to the chaos.
Yes, yes, and yes. So in a very real way, if you have an inability, a current lack of ability to influence others and to lead others, that is a form of chaos. And it's adding a lack of peace and clarity.
Because it inhibits, ultimately, again, like, it's harsh, but it's the truth. What's the long-term effect of that? If you can't influence your spouse and children to bring order to the chaos, what's the long-term effect? You have to deal with those consequences, which could be all of the things you listed. You don't get to live your dream life. You have regrets. You that chaos is perpetuated in the family, right? And passed down generations. Okay, there are lots of long-term consequences for those things. Now, here's the thing, though. We have to remember, you have the power to do it. You just have to ask yourself the right questions.
Yep.
And a lot of times that's where we often fail, is because instead of asking ourselves the right questions, we're telling ourselves why we can't do it, all the excuses, all the obstacles of why it can't be done. And so that creates mental blocks that keep us from finding the answer, finding the order in the chaos.
Can I emphasize that, please? A lot of us are spending our mental faculties. You guys you're just geniuses. And I mean that. And you have genius level thinking, but you're spending your mental faculties in creating excuses instead of creating solutions.
Or just simply looking at the problem instead of looking for the solution. If you continually just focus on looking at the problem and why it's a problem and why it's so difficult to solve, then you just keep seeing more of that instead of finding the solution by looking for the solution.
So here's what I want to really emphasize. Like Rachel's saying, you all have the power to do this. Every one of you. Some of you may be like, I can't do it. I'm too overwhelmed. I've tried everything, right? That's just the story you're telling yourself. You can do this. You can bring order to every bit of chaos in your life. But you have to get serious and you have to get deliberate. So we're gonna wrap up here.
Well, we are gonna wrap up, but I just kind of want to address this.
Go, girl.
One final time as kind of this closing. Kind of this idea of like, I want the steps for doing it. Like, I've tried it, but it doesn't seem to work. Is there a formula, right? Something I'm missing. And I would say, how we've talked about the obstacle is the way. Like, in some ways, that is exactly what you're facing here. I've tried everything and nothing seems to work. I can't keep order in my life. That right there is the key. The obstacle is the way. What you are facing is what's standing in your way from achieving what you want. So that is like practically your most important duty at this time, is to figure out how to bring the order to the chaos. Now, we've given you general things. We've, start with where you're at, start with what's around you. But ultimately, you're the one that has to do the asking of the right questions to yourself. You have to ask yourself, what do I need to bring order to in my life? And you have to listen for the answers, and you have to take action on those answers and the inspiration that comes. When you ask yourself these questions, like, you're going to get answers.
And I was about to speak boldly.
If you act on them, that's when you bring more order
take action.
to your
I was about
life.
to say, and you better take action, people. I get a little intense sometimes. Here's what I would say. Taking massive, deliberate, consistent action. I chose those 3 words specifically. Massive, deliberate or purposeful, consistent action on the things. So some of you are like, so, well, where do I start? What do I do? It's all in chaos. I'm not sure what happens. Here's what I would do. I've done this with my coaching clients, and I would do it with you. Say, okay, if you've got these hangups and it seems like there's a big pile and everything's out of control, I'm going to have you make a list of the biggest obstacles, the biggest pain points. And this is really simple. Don't make it too complicated. Grab a piece of paper and write down the biggest pain points or the biggest points of chaos where you think, yeah, this is so out of control. It's really preventing us and me from progressing. So again, if we were to come to your house, I'd sit down with you and say, what are the things in your life that are preventing you from progressing? And you'd be like, okay, it's the budget, it's the basement, the garage, it's I don't know, the project, this relationship, whatever, you go through the list of your things. And then I want you to, so here's how I do. I think Rachel would approach it differently.
I think I'll add my 2 cents when you're done.
Okay. So here's how I'm going to do this for those of you who kind of think like me. I think this will be helpful. I would sit down, I'd make my list and I'd say, which one is the biggest pain point? Which one's causing the most problems? Which one is a huge sow that's taking up all the space at the trough,
Yes,
right?
yes, you said that.
That one. I'm going to go after that one and I'm going to take massive, deliberate, consistent action. So if let's say it's the garage, for example, it's a good example. I'm backing a pickup truck up to the garage. I'm opening that sucker and I'm like, hey, I got a 3-hour window. I'm going gangbusters. Things are flying out of this garage. We're getting things done. And I'm going to go, no crap. Like at some point you got to say, done. I'm done with the crap. Like we're cutting, this goes. We've been moving this box around. We've never unpacked this box. We moved 17 times, never unpacked this box. It's still packed. Like let your kids do a bonfire out back. Man, get things done. It takes some massive action. And I know some of you are hesitant to do a massive action. You kind of, and in some instances, not all, in some instances, that might be your problem. You're like, you're not the want to rip the Band-Aid off kind of people. You're like, I'll just gently work that off. And 3 weeks later, you're like, I know it's going to come off soon. Like rip the thing off. Let's go. So if Rachel and I were to come to your house, she would be like, oh, you got this. You're so sweet. Let's pick something small here. Can you do with that? And I'd be in your backyard like, this tree's coming down.
Now the trees.
Whatever's in the way, right? We're going to take massive action. I'm going to encourage you to go bold. Like get some things done.
Yes.
Like go if you got 10,000 emails in your email box, like go back.
Delete them all.
Go back 6 months and delete everything from their back. Just go.
Rachel can come inside. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, see, but then I'd be pounding on the door. Heather, I know there's stuff in there that needs to go.
And no, I will agree. Sometimes that's legitimate. And this is why it's good for you to ask yourself the questions, because sometimes that is what needs to happen. Now, there is, of course, a challenge with doing that when you have a family, because everybody has their emotions attached to different things. So you do find you face obstacles that way. But if that's the case, set it aside, deal with it later, at least go through the stuff where people aren't emotionally attached to it. There's plenty of that still. That is the case. The other thing, the other aspect.
Just read that one. That's a great one.
Yeah, I found that tackling exactly. This is where I go in. Tackling the easiest piece of thing you can do first is sometimes helpful because it's easy. You improve your chances of success, and success is highly addictive.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's where I'm going. Sometimes you just start by like, I'm going to make my bed every day, right? I'm going to do that. And then I get into that habit, and day after day, I make my bed. I make my bed every day. Now, sometimes I don't make it till noon, but I still make my bed every day. And you start there.
Hold up. That's because she gets up early and she's downstairs working out, writing, organizing things, running the family. I mean, she's rocking it. She's not like getting out of bed at noon. I don't go back up
to my bed till noon and then I make it.
She's not sleeping on the couch and then goes back up at noon.
But I remember when I made the commitment to make my bed every day. This was probably now, 7 or 8 years ago. I decided I'm going to make my bed every day because I'm bringing order to the chaos. And it starts there. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. All these different things. Now, this is not to be confused with what you have to do sometimes, which is intentional procrastination. Sometimes I intentionally don't clean something up or do the dishes or whatever because I have more important things to do, right? That's a different type of chaos. That's chosen chaos because you guys know the yin and yang symbol, right? Like ultimately, we're trying to maintain this balance between order and chaos. And sometimes, in order to order one part of our life, to work on our business per se, you have to ignore some of the other chaos. That's different. That's intentional, right? But the point is, if there's chaos that's preventing you from doing those things, if you can't work on your business because your desk is covered with stuff, that right there is where you start. If you're like, my goal is do this and I can't because my desk is a mess, start by bringing that chaos to order. Okay, I think that's
so good. So good. When in doubt, start with your purse. Love that, Mary.
Exactly.
Right. Start small. Grab something. I guess one more thing I'd like to specifically mention is that the little things done consistently will add up way faster than you think.
build momentum.
If you just do one thing a day, just pick one thing a day. You could literally you could say something like, okay, 10 minutes of every day I'm going to dedicate to ordering things.
Yeah.
And you're
Even if you
super
did
busy, you
that.
got so much going on. You're like 10 minutes a day. I promise you, at the end of the
Clean out a
month,
drawer.
you're like, dang, like things
Yeah.
are feeling
Clean
better.
off a counter.
And you just keep going at 10 minutes a day.
And I still do that. Like
As do I.
today. Well, in fact, before this class, I'm like, oh, I have some time. So I cleaned out some drawers and I put up some Christmas decorations and I did some ordering and I spend 15 minutes a day still because maintaining order is an ongoing process.
It just works. I do
Okay,
that.
we're technically
Okay,
done.
we're
So
done. We're done. We're done. All right.
we can answer questions.
Yeah, any questions? We're happy to answer
but
questions.
if you
guys
to go,
rock,
we're
man.
done.
You guys you're amazing human beings. Thank you for being so wonderful, for being intentional and deliberate, and for
and
caring,
listening to us
for
rant
being
and
here.
rave
Yeah.
and,
Oh, we genuinely love you and appreciate you. Any
there
questions?
was kind of a
Give me
question
an
right here.
example of how to stop or slow my kids from fighting. Excellent. The fighting with the kiddos is often part of the drama triangle. There's usually, and you're probably more involved in than you think. There's usually a persecutor, a victim, and a rescuer. That's the triangle. Makes a little triangle. So one point is the persecutor, and then the other point's the victim, and the other point is the rescuer. If you are always rescuing or intervening, and and usually people get into roles and they stay there. So what you have to do is you have to like switch it up and come up with strategies and rules and look for deeper causes. If fighting is chronic, if fighting's chronic, there's something else going on. Maybe it's we've talked about 6 human needs. If the needs aren't being met, fighting's just part of the chaos.
Yeah, our philosophy. Our philosophy is looking at the root source of the problem, because whatever's happening, the fighting is a symptom of other problems. So if a lot of the parenting advice and all that focuses on how to stop the fighting with timeouts or different tactics like that, but really you're just dealing with the symptoms. You're putting on band-aids and stuff, when what you really need is to solve the problem at its source. So I pay real close attention to my kids when they're fighting, to listen to what's being said and what's happening. And then that's when I know, oh, this kid's feeling really neglected or unloved or insecure or whatever. And then I have to go to work at solving that issue. Now, that's a lot of work. It's not easy. It's not like, hey, sit in timeout, Now, it's not that timeout can't work, especially with younger kids. But that's not solving the root of the problem. It's temporarily temporarily putting a stop to the fighting that's happening at the moment, but it won't keep the fighting from happening unless you get to the root causes. And that's just something that only you can figure out by paying close attention to your kids and what's going on.
And ask them and talk to them
And that
and
could-
teach them and have them talk to each other. And like, here's one thing that we started years ago that works like a champ. We just started saying to our kids, is that the kind of person you want to be? That's it. It wasn't shaming. It wasn't guilting. We say, hey, is this the kind of person you want to be? And it was always, no. Okay, then don't do it. Like, I didn't make it about anybody else. I didn't make it about us. I didn't make it about anything. I was just like, hey, you guys are fighting. Is that really the kind of person you want to be? Man, that
And-
one works like gold. And it's not manipulative. It's not guilting or shaming. It's just like, hey, honestly, like, how do you want to be?
Especially if you've already taught that principle. It may not work so great if you just like said it out of the blue, because they'd be like, huh, what? But if you teach the principle of you get to choose and what kind of person you want to be, then they make that connection. The other thing though is you start to, well, this works with younger children especially, but it can also work with teens, especially boys and girls. We have 2 teenage boys in our house and 2 teenage girls. Now this is actually very helpful because they like don't get each other. They're like, why are boys like this and why are girls like this? And so it's instigated a lot of helpful conversations where we've been able to get in deep of men and women and the differences and how they think and all this. So it's helpful for them to learn that, but often it's helpful to articulate what the other child or the children might be feeling. So with younger kids and teenagers, to help them find the words.
Because they don't know.
They don't necessarily
They don't know how to
what they're
identify
feeling.
that yet. They don't have the self-awareness. Some of you don't have the self-awareness yet. You know, some of us, I mean, as adults, like.
So if something's going on, an argument or a disagreement, I'll kind of be like, well, it seems like you're feeling like this. And then they'll be like, yeah, that I feel like that. So then it helps the other one understand, oh, that's how they're feeling. And then I'll say, and then I help them voice their side, because it's never one-sided necessarily, but helping them find the words of how they are feeling and why they're feeling that way can help to find the resolutions.
And I do that same thing. This is cool. I think we kind of do it independently. I'll go in and I'll talk to one of them and I'll say, hey, I think your sister has been experiencing this and she's been feeling like this. And I think that's probably why she reacted. Does that make sense? And when I bring that kind of light to my other kid, they're like, oh, I feel really bad for snapping at her. I didn't realize that's what she was feeling. And when you help them understand, then they're like, well, I don't need to fight. I don't want to fight. I understand now. I was lashing out because I didn't understand. That's the main cause.
Yeah.
Again, chaos, right? Not understanding is chaos. So bringing order to it is helping explain the thoughts and feelings that are going on in the other person and in themselves. And when they understand that, they're like, oh, okay, super cool.
Sorry, now I got distracted.
Yeah, Emily, your story is amazing. I love that.
We drove past a soda shop today and they were hanging up Christmas lights. And I said sarcastically, oh, how cute. They're decorating the liquid poison shop. My kid said, Mom, you're totally grating out on us right now. So you're a noun, but also a verb.
And a verb. Yeah. Oh, I
awesome.
love it. That's so good.
Book Why Gender Matters. I like this for understanding the opposite gender.
Great.
Yes. We also, there's 2 very Christian books that we like that are called Captivating. What's the subtitle?
And Wild at Heart.
And Wild, yeah. Captivating's for women. Wild at Heart is for men, but it's helpful to read both because 1, you understand yourself better, and 2, you understand the opposite sex better.
And then teach those to your kids. And when they're in their teens-ish, have them read them. My teens read it and they were like, whoa,
interesting.
that was good.
But it was cute
This is
because
insightful.
one of the things it talks about that, women like to be found captivating. They want to be adored by the people that are important to them, right? Their children, their husband. And when my boys read that and they started to understand, like they started to be a lot nicer. Well, not that they were necessarily rude, but they started to be kinder and more complimentary to their sisters and be like, oh, you look so nice. And you did this. That's so great. They knew, they were now aware of this and were able to act it out in a way that improved the family relationships. So yeah, those things, understanding those things helps. So anyways, that's a long answer to that
Boom.
question.
Anything else? Any other questions? Any other specifics?
If not, we will go to bed now.
Yes. Because it is seriously my bedtime.
It's 9:11.
9/11 bedtime. Oh yeah, you too, Mickey. People got to go to bed early, man, so we can get things done in this world. Yeah. Some of you, okay, I'll make this suggestion on that point. Some of you need way more ordered bedtime routines. You need to figure out how to get yourself into bed.
Too much. Let's just start where we are.
No, go to bed. Go to bed on time, people, and sleep really well.
Wild at Heart is the other book for men.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
You guys are
you.
wonderful. Love you all. Do good things. Have a fantastic week. Go right now. Go love on your spouse and go love on your kiddos and go order something before bed or so you're
Yes.
starting your day. I want this commitment.
10 minutes or less of ordering.
Take even 5 if you're going to bed. As you're walking into your bed, be like, take something, throw in the garbage can. Just like order something before bed.
I order myself to bed.
Yeah, I order myself to bed. That's some order right there, sister. Oh yeah.
I've been getting up early consistency
Since the last
consistently.
meeting, it's been a huge difference in my productivity.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
there you
Woo
go.
hoo.
You're bringing order to that. Oh, I love it. Okay, love you
awesome.
guys.
Thank you.
Buenas noches. Reach upward.